and changes made by President William Ruto, evoking accusations that the head of state would rather recycle than sack those he even described as incompetent. Our political affairs reporter Emmanuel Toh takes a look at the president's recycling habits.
Like a train, President Ruto's administration comes with compartments. The trend has in the last few months been that of throwing those fired not out of the train, but to the next compartment. So, is Justin Muturi next in line?
I had a problem with the AG who was there. He was fairly incompetent, but I now have a very competent lady.
On Tuesday night, President Ruto berated Justin Muturi, describing him as incompetent during his term as the Attorney General. The put-down is likely to raise questions why, despite being fairly incompetent, Muturi was still appointed CS in the Ministry of Public Service. And now that he has been dropped from cabinet, will Muturi follow the beaten path of reappointment after being fired? That trend is set. In the government changes made last week, the president moved former ICT Principal Secretary Edward Kisiang'ani to his Bureau of Advisors as a senior advisor and member of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. Previously, it was the former ICT and Digital Economy CS Eliud Owalo and the former Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management CS Moses Kuria that were fired as cabinet secretaries and appointed presidential advisors. When he sent his entire cabinet packing on July 11th last year on the pressure from the Gen Z-led protests, President Ruto had this to say.
Why did you dismiss the whole cabinet? And then you hired some back. Let me answer it this way. It was necessary to have a fresh start. Because as I told the people of Kenya, we're going to have a broad-based government and we're going to have a fresh start.
Nearly half of the members of the dismissed cabinet secretaries were reappointed to cabinet. Some, like former health CS Susan Nakhumicha, only waited a little longer, and last week she was nominated as the new Kenyan permanent representative to the UN Habitat in Nairobi. Former cabinet secretary for agriculture and livestock development Karanja, who is now Kenya's ambassador to Brazil, and former gender CS Aisha Jumwa, was fired and later appointed to the chairperson of the Kenya Roads Board, with the Institution of Engineers of Kenya up in arms over her lack of any background in civil, structural or transport engineering. Former CS for Youth Affairs, Arts and Sports Ababu Namwamba was appointed to the UN Global Leadership Council of Generation Unlimited GENU after his short stint as CS. During the signing of performance contracts at State House Nairobi, President Ruto lamented over the incompetence and cluelessness of some of his CSs and PSs.
Many of you, the people I speak to, don't even know what is going on in your ministries or departments. You have very scanty information. The moment I know more than you in your ministry, then you must begin to understand that something is very wrong. How do you run a ministry or that department or a parastatal if you have